recent weeks, Nigerians have been groaning under the weight of rising price of liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, also known as cooking gas. As a result, many who can no longer afford the commodity have been forced to resort to firewood and kerosene. The soaring price of gas has been blamed on rising gas prices in the international market, as Nigeria, with massive unexploited gas resources, depends on imports for 60% of its LPG requirements. The Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas Company, NLNG, which makes up the balance, has also blamed the shortage of cooking gas on marketers' inability to offtake the full 450,000 metric tons of LPG allocated to the domestic market by the company. According to NLNG, the inability of marketers to offtake the LPG was due to logistics and infrastructure challenges, as well as other factors in the industry. It, however, assured that the company would increase its production capacity by 35% with the completion of Train 7, which will in turn boost domestic LPG supply. But even as NLNG targets a 35% increase in LPG output, the fact remains that the company's Train 7 will not be completed for another 5 years. Now joining us to enlighten us on the remote and immediate causes of the gas shortage in the country and the measures needed to address the problem is Olatunbosun Oladapo, National President of the Nigerian Association of Liquefied Petroleum Gas Marketers. Welcome to the show, Mr. Oladapo, and good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Well, Mr. Oladapo, the question has already been raised by Tundo. Nigeria is the 9th largest, producer of gas in the world. Over 207 million cubic feet of gas. Every day we flare gas. We just waste it. Now, the analysts tell us that Nigeria is even more of a gas-producing country rather than, an oil-producing country. And yet, the ordinary man on the streets of Nigeria cannot afford anymore to buy 5 kg or 15 kg gas cylinders. It's so bad now that I hear at wedding ceremonies, when they do introduction in some parts of the country, the mother-in-laws will ask you to add a 15 kg cylinder of gas. So that's how serious the situation is. So why is it that something that we have in abundance in this country, Nigerians cannot even afford it? They can't have access to it.
Thank you, Doctor. Let me first clarify something. We have deposits in abundance, but the production is inadequate. There's a difference between deposits, natural resources, what God has given to us, and is down deep under the sea and under the ocean. We heard that we are denied in terms of deposits all over the world. But in terms of production, exploration, we are not there. The problem with gas is this. Years back, Nigerians were not using gas because of the fear and because of enlightenment. Meanwhile, the Western world were using years long ago. And when Nigeria started embracing gas as a result of encouragement, deepening the usage of it, people come into it. And we have one factor that works for us here, which is our population. We are talking about 240 million estimated population, which is in combination is more than 4 countries of some African countries. So, and if 15% or 20% of this population decide to adopt gas, then the question is the gas available? What we do before now is because the usage was not many, people get it locally and other West African countries. But when LNG came on board, LNG had to, with due respect, President Olatunbosun actually gazetted that and lobbied NLNG to be giving gas to the local production. And we started from NLNG. The production NLNG was doing that was very adequate. As the population continued to increase and the people are embracing gas, we became to have problem. We were on 550 metric tons per annum. Nigeria has grown to 1,250 metric tons per annum now. We have capacity to go to 5 million metric tons per annum because of which population we are having. But currently what we produce locally is so insufficient. And when that has been the case before, we supplement it with imports. So import comes, about 60% of gas used in this country are imported to this country. We import from Nigeria, we import from America, we import from Central Africa, and some other neighboring countries to supplement. And because exchange rate and international price was reasonable then, nobody feel the impact. As the business is growing and the awareness is increasing, government agents also see this as an opportunity to also do what's called domestication. We want to domesticate that. We want everybody, the gas we are going to be produced in this country. But we are not mindful that we don't have the capacity to produce the need because all of our refineries were not working. The NLG that is producing butane. NLG produces gases, natural gases and so that the exports. The one that is relevant to us is butane. And the capacity of energy today is 450 metric tons. The whole capacity has been earmarked for the local production. 450 take away from 1,250. The gap is still there. We have Foredo, we have Kwale. These people are producing at a lower rate. So if you match everything they are producing in Nigeria together, it's about 650 or 550, thereabouts. So we still have huge gap. The huge gap can only be breached by importation, and that is why import is coming. So now the import become an issue when we have forests, insufficient of forests, and devaluation of our currency. Dollar has really gone up against Naira, and it becomes unaffordable. And there's no official window for gas. So people that are buying have to source from parallel market. And when they go to their cost template, they factor this in. There are some other charges that are recently introduced by government. Government now says, okay, you people are bringing in, it's another source of revenue. Let's charge VAT. So 7.5 fee 80 on import gas and import duties. This wasn't there before. So it's newly introduced, and they communicated to this company that the product you are dealing with is subject to VAT and import duty way back 2019. These are products that they've sold. So it therefore means when the agents knock on their door, they must provide the money. So what they did as a business is to go to their cost template, factor that in, and that increased the price. You saw this price now, they pass it to the last consumer, Nigerians, the common man. And the price has really gone up. It has not stopped. It's still going. Because as we're talking now, there's what we call artificial scarcity. Storage facilities are dry now. Gas are not in the country. So the impact of all this, because the scarcity is already is happening, but what we should concentrate on now is what is really the impact to Nigeria. Number one, people that are invested in this business are suffering because there's no patronage, no patronage. People are abandoning gas to another alternatives. Alternatives that is not healthy. You will agree with me the resolution at Glasgow, this just concluded summit now, was that deforestation will be stopped by 2030. If we don't make gas available, Nigeria cannot comply with that. Because people are going to the bush. It's only in the city and less city that people are using gas now. Right outside the less city, people have gone back to forest, cutting wood. The charcoal we say is a processed wood. And this is a process of deforestation. So all the money spent for campaigning for afforestation and everything, we will lose that in 5 years. Erosion will come in, and there will be a lot of deforestation. Health issue comes in. Before now, people selling akara and selling all this to they use gas, they embrace gas. The whole woman going to flee. When it's coming to city, you go with 3 kg to cook. And when it's coming back, he brings it. Now they go back and cook with the orthodox way of cooking, which has effect on their sight. So in very recent time, there will be increase in HB care. People will be suffering with glaucoma and some other diseases. So this is not appropriate way. And when you are rating performance of a country, the outside world want to rate Nigeria. The way we live, the way we cook, is also telling us that poverty is boldly written on majority of Nigerians because they can't afford a simple, neat, economical, and affordable cooking technology. That's why we have abundance of gas. Government also is going to suffer for this impact because Nigeria also will, at a time, ask government that what is the take home, what is the advantage of having a government if they cannot afford to cook in a very decent way. We are talking about the masses, the large number. These are the electorate. These are people that will be on the queue that could not afford to put food on their table. They don't deserve anything. They don't ask for something too much. It's just to make them live a decent life. We are taking that away from them. Itato, when GSM came in, before GSM came, people were using telephone. The rich were talking to themselves. But when the government came, they introduced GSM. That makes the poor to be able to afford it and carry GSM, and they are grateful to that. This government declared gas decade, which is a laudable one. They just launched and trying to invest in infrastructure. If they are able to entrench and deepen the usage of gas and make it available, it will have been a breakthrough. That's a good thing that they take away from this government. Nigerians are able to cook in a decent way. So those are part of impact, the business impact and everything. So the way out is more important.
So you've given us an overview and pointed out the irony that this year Nigeria did announce the decade of gas, and that we've made all kinds of promises at COP26 in Glasgow. And I also wanted to add, apart from eye problems, lung problems as well from using charcoal. What is the way out? What kind of government intervention do you want to see, if at all it is a government intervention that will solve this problem?
Thank you. Yes, it's still government. Of course, everything in Nigeria we call on government, but we realize this is business. But nobody all over the world leave business to the forces of demand and supply. All over the world. Anything that is essential, you don't leave it, because if you leave it, some people will have upper hand over the other, then the masses will suffer. What do government need to do here now? They need to suspend charges on import gas, pending the time we'll be able to produce domestically. And that will take another 5 to 7 years. NLG Trade 7 is coming up in 5 years' time. Our population is growing. Our refineries are not working. If refineries, 4 refineries are fixed and they are producing, and when the people now start exploration, local production of gas increased. We still have a lot of abundant deposit, but we need investor to come in to exploration. And what will attract investor is the capacity of people to buy. When the price goes up, people will not buy. It's either you produce for another country to buy use. So we must create market and must create affordable market that will attract investors. Now government need to suspend all the charges, both the VAT and import duties, and if it's possible, give access. I know we have limitation with Forex, but this is an essential product. There's a way government can see how to do to make it easy so that people can settle with their counterpart and make this product available to Nigerians. If gas is affordable, life will be more meaningful. So it's the president and the minister for petroleum, the minister for state that need to present this case, and on behalf of Nigeria to Mr. President, so Mr. President can sign for the waiver or suspension of these charges, then importer will be able to import gas and scarcity will be reduced, price will come down. It may not come down to what it used to be, because like doctor said, price went up internationally. And that's why it's also a yo-yo market. At a point, it will also come down. But when it comes down, we will enjoy it. But at least it will be better than where we are now. As at today, a 12.5 kg is sold for 10,000 or 10,200, depending on the location. And it's going up. 20 metric tons LPG now is sold for 11.6 million. January, we bought it 3.8 million. And it has not stopped. We are going to December. So if there's no intervention now, by January, December, Nigerians will find it difficult to live a good life.
So you're saying the price will increase?
Of course. Because the window is closed. Nobody is bringing gas into the country. And what we produce here, I challenge them, it's not sufficient. So when there's scarcity, the middleman role comes in. The forces of demand as well will move the price up. The only way not to allow middlemen to take over the price is to make sure that the produce is available. If gas were to be adulterated, we will have the sense of standard gas. But nobody can do that. If you do that, you are playing with fire. So there could have been some standard gas, which Nigeria could avoid at a lower price. But no, you can't do that with cooking gas. It has some quality that you must meet for safety purpose. And the price is on the market. If you can't afford it, you drop it. So that's the problem. So it's the intervention of Mr. President and the minister that will be able to come and save Nigerians and save our future, save us for deforestation, and make sure that the business also grows. So it will also be attractive to invest for investors.
Okay, thank you so much. I mean, a lot has been said. You've talked about the solution to this problem and all of that. But I just want you, as the marketers, to also sort of like put yourself in the shoes of the average Nigerian now that needs this product. What can be done on your own end? I know government has its own role to play, but what can be done in your own end? Because this is biting hard.
Yes.
Businesses are shut down. There are people that have shacks where they make food by the roadside that they use gas. They've had to stop or increase the price of the meal for common man.
Thank you for that question. The common man, what they are feeling is impact, increase in price. And if they can't afford, they will not buy. But let me tell you what the practitioners, the marketers, what they are facing. If you buy a bridger today, you buy it 8 million. And you are saying by the time you sold 75% of the stock, the price has gone up to 11 million. You calculate all the sales proceeds, it's not up to 11 million. You have to look for money somewhere else to remain in business. If you did for this truck, another one come, the same thing happen. How many times will you go and borrow money? That's not business. And if you open shop and people are not buying what you are selling, how you overhead is going on? Cost of operating business is going on. So even the marketers are not enjoying it. It's a serious problem. As we speak, gas plant are on sale. People are putting gas plants on sale. And majority of people that came into this business are retirees. People that have worked and they get their benefit until they want to live like what can they do? Now they are regretting venturing into that business because it's no longer profitable. So the incident of the hike, the common man.
So they are selling their gas plants now.
Of course.
And everybody's coming out of the
Of course, because it's not profitable. It's not profitable to build an average gas plant now that duly approved. You need about 120 million naira. And when you don't get in a month, you don't get, you go open it and nobody, it takes you about 3 months to sell a bidja, 20 metric tons. What is the return on it? If you buy a product of 12 million now, you can't make 500,000 gross, not net. It's serious. So Nigerians, they are also feeling the impact because of their pocket. And don't forget, per capita income is ridiculously low in this country. That's why we are shouting. If our per capita income has to be increased, 10,000 naira, turn it to $1. How much is it? About $18. But if income is so significant, if somebody has an average income of 180,000, 200,000, 10,000 may not be material. But an average Nigerian has 50,000. Most of Nigerian graduates have 50,000, 60,000. Take 10,000 naira out of it. It's very significant. And that's why they are feeling the impact. And that's the only way they can, the only person they can look at is government. So that they can ameliorate. And as a measure of palliative, make life meaningful to them.
Well, Mr. Oladapo, we've talked about the demand and supply crisis, the fact that we have issues with Forex because this is imported product.
Yes.
How we keep importing things that we have in abundance is part of the paradox of the Nigerian experience. But I wanted to ask you, yes, we say gas has gone up, domestic gas, but even the cost of firewood has gone up. Mm-hmm. Even the cost of kerosene has gone up with increase in demand. But with regard to domestic gas, can you tell us whether there are certain sharp practices that may have also further complicated the situation? Because you know Nigerians, you know, while some people are suffering, they are complaining about prices, some people are profiting from that automation. And if there are such sharp practices on the part of the marketers, what do you recommend? Can you identify any such sharp practices?
Thank you, Doctor. That is not inevitable. Anywhere there's insufficient of production and people that are in business, the urge is to make good returns. But the most important is not to create that avenue. Months back, last year, this issue doesn't come. We operate and that's when, because there's no scarcity. So when there's scarcity, that's why I say it's worst off. Because few that have access to gas, they will hold it like they are holding gold. And to release it, you pay for it. That is where the issue of middleman effect comes in. So the only thing, don't turn what they are holding to gold. Let's give you the common value, then everybody will access, you will drop it. So when there's insufficient scarcity of product, then there will be problem. That is not, cannot be ruled out, but it's controllable. It's temporary. If once there's a supply, there's a glut, that price will come down. That is one. Two, yes, the price went up, and there are some factors that led to that. We've talked of Forest, we've talked of Nalpgm, because gas which buy in Nigeria are actually benchmarked on international price index, Nalpgm. This is also another factor. But by the time we want to fully domesticate, and I'm talking that's in about 7 years' time, we can't domesticate. To be frank,
so
and I challenge everybody.
For a long haul.
For a long time.
Exploration is capital intensive and takes time. Exploration is capital intensive and takes time. Energy is just trying to expand now, and that's train 7, and it takes 5 years to complete. That is true. The existing trains, train 4, train 5, train 12, whatever, is already 30 years old. By the time you complete train 7, you come back overhauling of those ones. The well, where they are getting, how well are they maintained? This is our process. So, and you know what is happening with refinery. They break down, refine them, we do it. So it's a continual process. Countries of the world, where they do it, there's a proper planning. That's, we are suffering what we are suffering for is what we lack. If there have been proper planning with the growth in population and the way things will have been placed. But now we are paying for that gap.
Well, on that note, thank you very much, Mr. Oladapo.
My pleasure.
I hope we probably won't have to wait for 7 years to
I don't pray for that. I don't pray for that. That's why we are saying government should come to our aid.
Yes. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.